Want to start, just go ahead and jump into it.
Hold
Ba
on,
ba 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 ba.
hold on one sec.
Hello, sirs or ma'ams.
Watch your profanity. All right. Bleh, bleh. What do they do in that one movie? It's from something.
What?
I think it's that singing movie.
High School Musical?
No, 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 no. It has the fat Australian chick in it.
Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's what they do with her. It could be actually. It could be High School Musical. So I think the blonde chick does that.
She
She
does
does
like
the
the vocal warm
yeah.
ups.
Right, right. All
That entire
right.
that entire cold open's going in. By the way, let's start the fucking podcast, baby. Let's do this. This is
All right.
our geek culture for all you sirs or ma'ams out there, and
Absolutely. Or whatever you want to be called. Honestly, we're super open. It's not even a joke. We're about it.
tolerance
We
is the
support
standard
yeah,
around
we
here.
support it in here all
Uh,
day.
This post was sponsored by Pride Month.
Go
Uh,
check out our new Pride Month t-shirts on our Patreon. We're
right.
delaying the inevitable of talking about
Let's
this
talk about
fucking movie.
let's that just goes to show that we will wait as long as possible because it's been a full I think day or two since we saw Men in Black International. That is
Yeah.
right, folks. We are back
Mm.
with another episode of Should You See It for Men in Black International.
All right, one sentence fucking statement.
Fuck this movie, man.
That's your statement.
fuck Men in Black International.
My statement is redacted. I just don't. I don't think it's in the fucking whatever it's called, dude.
That's
I
what
don't
this
think
movie should be. It should be redacted. I wish I could neuralize myself.
I don't think this movie's real. I don't actually.
All
I
right,
think it might,
so for the uninitiated, Men in Black International is the it's a spiritual reboot of the Men in Black
but it's
franchise.
not. It's not a spiritual reboot.
In the
It
sense of
kind
like
of is.
in the sense it's not a hard that's what I'm saying. It takes place in the same universe. It's not a hard reboot. So in the sense that we have a new set of characters and nothing from like the old movies is really referenced. So
I had a
yeah, like
picture. It was like a painting. Yeah.
so yeah, in this sense, we have a spiritual reboot. It stars Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. You might be familiar with them from being in the second highest grossing movie of all fucking time. Um, Thor, Chris Hemsworth is the only person who has ever played Thor in a respectable way. Tessa Thompson is an incredible actress from the Creed franchise, from now in the Thor franchise. Really, really good actors in this movie, and Liam Neeson.
And
So yeah,
it just, I hate, like,
so
why do this
let's get
movie
into
if
yeah.
you're
So
just,
for that's kind
it
of
has nothing to do with the previous ones. I don't really get why you would do that. I think that's what went wrong in the first place because you're setting up a movie for characters we don't care about like at all because we don't know who they are and they rush through who they are and then one movie and one shit movie.
so let's talk about the aspects and fundamentals of this film in their entirety. Uh, this movie, what do you think the biggest problem with it was?
That's what I'm saying. What I said, I think was a number one problem. Well, first of
Okay,
all, the movie is boring, but
it is
besides
boring.
all of that, but like the base problem in this movie is that it's so far away from what the movie was, and you don't like if you're gonna say it's a Men in Black movie, why not make it about the movies that we love on some level? Like make it you don't have to have Will Smith and whatever in it, but like make what happened at the end of Men in Black 2 like somehow pop back up in this movie because when you introduce these new characters, it's like she's a small town girl and she saw an
She's
alien
living
that
in
you
a
know for sure that
wonderland.
alien's gonna come back and save her later in the movie. Like it's just from the and there were so many just useless scenes in this movie that you just like, why did they waste their time filming this scene?
That's my biggest issue with this movie because there are so many scenes that just have nothing to do with the scene before or the scene after.
Yeah, it's just
I looked over to you and I'm like, it feels like we're watching like a compilation of YouTube videos.
it's YouTube Rewind, but in
It's
Men in Black
five. It's like
style.
literally it's like a 5 minute scene, and then you go to another 5 to 7 minute scene that has nothing to do with what you just saw on the screen. I was literally like, this is a fucking like Men in Black themed episode of Robot Chicken,
And
because
it's
it's like
like
the pacing and the just the just how well put together the story is just like, at some point I just realized like they don't like care about making a good story here at all. They just want like to cash in on the on how good Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson's
on the
chemistry is.
trademark. They were looking to cash
Well,
in on
no,
the
like
trade.
yeah, and but that like people were going into this movie thinking, oh, it's essentially going to be the same dynamic as Thor Ragnarok with Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth, and that's literally all the movie was. That was its only selling point, and it's the only part of the movie that ended up being in any way redeemable. And even then, it was like played to fucking death, and it was to the point by the end of the movie I did not enjoy like seeing them interact or like anything like that.
This movie was a pile of rocks. It just felt so heavy, and you're just sitting there and you're just like wondering, what else could I be doing with my time right now? I went to the bathroom and I came back, and I don't I feel like I stopped time, and then I came back and then they started the movie for me. Like I you can skip like 15-minute intervals of this movie and feel like you had not even like lost a second of the time.
It's so bad. That's all I can. It's so bad.
It's
I
so
can't.
predictable. I
I
could predict the
am.
entire movie.
I am.
Like you could call like who the real villain was, and like the first villains are like dancers, and you don't it doesn't really make sense at all.
It's so bad that like I'm actively looking for other things to think about and talk about as we talk about this movie right now. I'm tearing comedians right now, dude. Like
It's just the movie is like it just felt lazy. Like they were just like, guys, we just gotta fucking finish this movie and just pack it out, man. Like we got the name Men in Black. Like I think that Tessa Thompson and Chris were genuinely interested in making a movie, but you can't work with
I
anything.
think they like working with each other, obviously, because they have like a really good dynamic when they're on screen together. But it's fucking they this there was no support for them in this fucking movie. Like there was just nothing for
And
them to
yeah,
work
and
with.
if you're gonna do a spiritual reboot, why not keep the same energy as at least keep the same energy as the first Men in Black movies? It didn't feel like a Men in Black movie. Like they had a very distinct style, and you're just like, this isn't what Men in Black is at all.
Well, I had I don't really remember the older Men in Black movies, and I kind of like went into this one like just in a vacuum, just to
I
think
think
like,
that's
all
what the
right,
directors did too, dude. I think they vaguely remembered what Men in Black was, and
hey
they're like,
man,
it's probably something like this.
this like subgenre I think is just like I think we stopped giving a shit about this subgenre a decade ago. Like it's been pretty cyclical with like the kind of subgenres we have in movies and like what kind of dominates the pop culture like zeitgeist. Because like oh it was aliens and then it was zombies and then it was vampires and then it's like dystopian societies where young adults are the key to turning everything around.
Yeah, right.
And like the Men in Black and with Men in Black International, it's just like, hey, we're still trying to do aliens over here, and it didn't work. It didn't work, and I didn't like it, and I didn't enjoy
Not
it.
that.
And
It's just spiritual reboots miss so much. Like, can you even remember the last spiritual reboot that was like good?
no,
Power
no,
Rangers
it's a
was
hard
fine,
no.
but it wasn't good. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that Power Rangers was good. Like, it just wasn't.
Power Rangers, well, like Power Rangers isn't even like a spiritual reboot because it's an adaptation. And even then, like
It's a
there's stuff in that to enjoy if you're a fan of Power Rangers.
there is nothing to enjoy. You will
You
not
sound
enjoy
like
this
a fan.
movie.
Yeah, you sound like a fan of the Men in Black movies, and like there's nothing to like about this movie from that
Unless you are a
perspective.
literal clown. There are people laughing at the jokes inside this movie
That
theater,
was
and I was
fucking crazy to me, man. I'm
it was
like, none of
upsetting.
these are funny.
I was like you might it's like you would laugh as hard as you would at some sort of mediocre
It's like,
twit. I'm such an old geezer. An old like a tweet that you see and you're like you give a little nose, a little breathe out. I never once did I go, ah! I didn't Yeah, that was how I laughed the entire movie.
I
It's
think
I don't
there's
know.
I think there's something to be said about the one liner, like the one off one liner dialogue, and how like
That's
how
the
some
entire
people
movie.
no like some people think like, oh, it kind of like is ruining dialogue in movies, and a lot of people like that's the one thing that people don't like about the Marvel movies, that there's so many of these one off joke lines. But I think in that case it's different from the Marvel movies because they do such a good job of developing a character to the point where you give a shit about them, to the point where like, oh, you can either tolerate this one liner, or this one liner kind of fits what you would do, or you would expect something like that from them. But this movie is just Kamal Nanjiani's character, the small fucking alien thing. Like that's his. Like he's just like we had like a fucking like debate like whether or not he would be like the guy from the Godzilla movie whose character I could not even bother to learn the name of, who was
White haired
literally
guy,
the white haired guy who was literally only doing one liners. Kumail Nanjiani's character is only doing one liners in this fucking movie, and it's beneath him because Kumail Nanjiani is he's a funny comic and he's a good actor. It's just like, why did you write this? Why was it written like this? Why was this movie made? Why why
If I could describe the dialogue, I think I could pinpoint it exactly. It's like if you took the scene from the last Transformers movie where they're racing in cars and then they just start saying things like, so there'd be explosions, explosions, explosions. They'll zip to the car and then someone says one quick line like "whoa" or "whoa," or something like "look out." Like if you took that energy and you just molded it into an entire script, it would just be Men in Black International.
Spencer, should you see Men in Black International?
We did that. We, if you see me in public, I've been in the military since I was 18 years old. I don't like when people say thank you for your service. But if you see me like if you see me in public now, I want you to thank me for my service of seeing this movie so that you don't have to.
we're
Do
one of
not
the
see this movie.
we're one of the fucking few because this movie is open to franchise low for the Men in Black movies. It made $28 million, and each Men in Black movie before it made at least $50 million on its opening weekend. So we
We
are
did this. We
the
did this
few.
service
We
for
are the
you.
few and the proud who saw the Men in Black International.
Just don't see it. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
from my end, yes, do not see Men in Black International. Don't see it on Netflix. Don't rent it on Amazon.
You
Don't
see it on
definitely
FX1 or whatever,
definitely
dude.
don't go to the movie theater and see it. It's
Don't
not worth your
don't give them.
time.
Don't support the whatever this
It
is.
is not worth your time. I'm telling you right now.
Imagine seeing this movie with commercials in between two on TV.
I love the people who were involved in this movie. I love Kumail Nanjiani. I love Tessa Thompson. I love Chris Hemsworth. This ain't it, Chief. This is not
This
it.
isn't. I
This
don't know.
isn't
The
it.
directors were drinking that yee yee juice or something, man. I don't. I don't know what you want to call it.
They're drinking the yee juice. We're drinking the dumb fuck juice for having gone and seen it.
Yeah, I was sipping on it all night long.
So yeah, that's about gonna wrap it up for how we feel about Men in Black International. We're gonna try and push out some more content for you guys. I was just coming off vacation, so that's kind of been the explanation why there's been a lull of videos lately. But we're about to get back on the horse, and we're literally tearing American comedians right now. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
For
and
this
you can
next
go
video.
on delivering sports as well. We're putting out content for that too. It's
Yeah,
been a,
we do have a video coming up on Delivering Sports about the Anthony Davis
it'll
trade
be out
and
tomorrow. It'll be out
and
tomorrow.
the NBA offseason and stuff like that. So, yeah, big things are going. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, subscribing, liking the Instagram posts and shit like
Yeah, we got a
that.
couple of new subscribers, so it's nice. Yep. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it, y'all. Have a great effing day.
Thanks for watching.
All right, don't hang up.